Good evening, everyone. Uh, Thank you so much for joining the speaker series. I hope like everyone is staying safe and good. First of all, thank you everyone for registering to this speaker series. Let me use this opportunity to give you all a quick intro about what is DCCAP, the organization, the community behind this speaker series. So DCCAP is a digital commerce agency helping businesses and brands abroad to create e-commerce storefronts. So that said, during these challenging timings, being in the lockdown, it's very much important for every one of us to upskill and learn new things. To facilitate learning for our employees as well as for the general community, so I would say DCCAP has started hosting the speaker series, a virtual event that happens every Friday. Through speaker series, we bring in distinguished thought leaders, technology masters, and change makers around the globe to address on varied topics which matters most to the community. Having all that said, today I'm very glad to welcome Vishwas Mudagal, CEO and co-founder of GoodWorks Co-working Spaces, and he's an MD and co-founder for GoodWork Labs. He's a celebrity entrepreneur, best-selling author, social media influencer, a motivational speaker, and an angel investor as well. He comes with over a decade of diverse experience across entrepreneurship and in the corporate sphere. His most prominent accomplishments are focusing more on the good works, that is the co-working space, and good work labs, that is focusing more on the technology and outsourcing front. He also runs a popular web series, Ask Vishwas, which has garnered more than 80 million views. He has had written two best-selling books, Losing My Religion and The Last Avatar. And today he is here with us in the speaker series platform to share his insight on the technology and business orders, how it's gonna be post COVID-19 situation. And hope you guys will have a great session. And over to you, Vishwas. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shrija, for that really amazing intro. Floor, thank you so much for that. And thank you for having me on this show. I think this is a fantastic series, helping a lot of people out there, and really glad to be on this show and really welcome everybody for this session. And today, basically, I'm going to talk about the corona situation and how businesses are adapting to the situation right now in using technology, using business processes to drive them to the next level, navigate through the challenges that have come through. So let me share my screen with the presentation. Either just help us to cover a few points and then talk about them in detail. Okay, so like I said, what I do right now is I'm running two companies. One is into technology. It's called GoodWork Labs, where we help a lot of top companies build technology, help them with digital transformation, and help them navigate some of the challenges in their business by using technology, user experience, artificial intelligence, machine learning, a number of these other technologies. So because of this, I'm on the cutting edge of seeing how the world is evolving, what kind of a preparedness they have. So that is something that we get to know very fast. I'm also running another company called GoodWorks Co-working Spaces, and we're doing extremely well. We've been one of the fastest growing co-working spaces in India right now, working with really top companies that have come to us, working in our spaces right now. So that gives us a unique opportunity to be in two industries that are on the forefront of the COVID situation right now. And let me take you through a few things that currently what businesses are looking at, the challenge that they have currently. So the corona situation has been one of the most unfortunate situations for the world. Never before have we seen anything as drastic as this. Perhaps in our entire lifetimes, we've never seen it. The last time I think the world saw it was in the World War II, and before that, I don't know when it was, World War One, and the economic situation was never like this before. We've never seen it before. So everybody, who, no matter who it is, has been affected by this. The business is down. Their freedom is not there to go out or to travel or to buy things. So fundamentally, I think humans have been challenged by, we've been caged in the houses, and but then life has to continue. So we understand how it has to continue till the time there is a vaccine. Three steps that we need to consider, and how the businesses are looking at it is, first of all, prevention is something that is very, very critical. Adaptation, and before adaptation, anticipating, okay, what is that, we need to create the processes, how do we need to navigate these things, and then adapt and act. So these are the three steps that every business is trying to figure out for them what they need to do. So if you look at what are the things that in the workspace people are trying to do, is bringing in certain kind of processes. Number one, remote working. So you know how it is. Everybody told that working from home is going to be a no-no. People told that you never can have efficiency when you work from home. It's impossible and all of that. But if you look at right now, most of the organizations, including my own organizations, are able to work from home, and then they're able to really increase the productivity. So there is significant shift in the productivity. People are working really more diligently. So we still don't know what is exactly the what is that is causing this spurt in the productivity. But I think that it's a combination of saving time at home, and also because I think people are under a lot of pressure that they don't want to lose their jobs as well. They're all putting in a lot of work. So it's in the next 3-4 months, it's going to be critical to understand, okay, how people are going to react to this work from home, or is it going to, people are going to come back to the workspace, and how they're going to do it. And what is happening is, because of this whole thing, technology enablement, technology adaptation, enabled with cloud platforms, mobile optimizations, these are the things that have really become the key aspect of the whole experience. If you look at the next slide, what is happening at this point in time, right? So key thing is that social distancing is a norm. If you go to office right now, you got to maintain your hygiene. You need to check your temperature. You need to look at wearing masks. You need to use hand sanitizers. You need to maintain a 2-meter distance between each other. It's a new norm altogether. And now for the businesses to succeed, they have to maintain social distancing. For example, we're running a co-working space, and people who are coming to us, they're going to be worried, because otherwise they're not going to send employees, and employees would not come back to offices unless we are maintaining the right kind of hygiene and have a standard operating practice or procedure where we are making sure that everybody is coming there is safe. That is important. Number two, what is important right now for a company to survive is contactless experience. So if you look at it, what are those businesses right now that are changing? Is number one is for example, e-commerce or food delivery, for example. When they come home now, it's very important that businesses evolve and say, okay, they're showing you that, okay, these are the cooks, these are the temperatures that these cooks have right now. So that means, okay, they don't have the COVID situation, they don't have the virus. Number two, they look at packaging in the right way. If somebody's coming home, their temperature is measured, they're keeping it near the door, and they're going off. You're making an online payment for that. There is no contact whatsoever. So that is a contactless experience. So this is something that businesses must adapt themselves, so that now in the new post-corona era, this is going to be the key for them to succeed. And technology, leveraging technology. So people told, okay, what technology before, for example, was just an enabler, but now it is going to be like a key platform where people are delivering stuff. For example, education. Now all the schools, all the colleges, all the courses are online right now. We never thought there's going to come a day where this can be possible, but yeah, it is happening right now. People are doing anything and everything. Even the online testing is happening right now. People are giving exams and everything online itself. The For example, people are even doing online health. For example, they are taking gym classes remotely. So multiple things like this have happened. So technology as a enabler is very, very critical for businesses to succeed right now. So that is the one of the key trend that we have seen. And another thing that is important is that you need to understand that the um, the businesses right now, some of the businesses are just totally obsolete. For example, Book My Show. Those guys are like gone. Like nobody ever is going to go for a show for a long time to come. There are hospitality industry. For example, there is hotels. There, it's going to be really difficult for them. So what is that they have to do? So they have to evolve their business strategy. They have to come up with a new business process altogether. So many people, for example, they have started to look at, say, for example, Swiggy or Zomato. They're trying to figure out how they can deliver grocery, for example, which they never did before. People who are into the FMCG, they are looking at coming up with hand sanitizers, for example. Anything that is trying to sell right now. So people are adapting because there is a dearth of capital in the market. So there's no money in the market anymore. So that's the kind of pivots that they're trying to do, doing some experiments, right? So that is what is important. So and having to do with that, even the marketing channels are evolving to say that, hey, the message to the audience, the message to the end audience is that, listen, it's like, we know that situation is bad, but we are here to support you, right? So that's the kind of outreach that they're trying to do. For example, now we are there, and we have a co-working company and GoodWorks basically, and then many people are not coming to the offices, but we are out giving an outreach space saying that, okay, we have partnered with Amazon or AWS, and you guys can have this free credits for your cloud server, because we know that this is something that you can use right now. So it's something that we are adding to them, where we are giving them something back, so that we know, hey, that we are there to support you. So that is something that is very critical, that every business needs to try and go that extra mile. That's important. So one of the key things that that are happening right now. So for example, the Zoom thing that we're doing right now, for example, I mean, it's like, it's like boom, like crazy right now. And if you look at the virtual meetings that have happened, so billions of hours of meetings are happening at this very moment, every day, across the world. Never before such a thing could have happened. People thought that meetings only can happen face to face, stuff like that, but I think the virtual meetings have shown that they're also effective. They are pretty effective, actually. So of course there are a few things that you need to go and meet in person, but there are majority of it that can be done a virtual meeting. So another thing that is has to come up is the kind of machine learning kind of a thing, and where you look at creating a great user experience for the end customers. Also look at creating with kind of virtualizations, like with AR and VR. Suppose you are selling a house. Suppose you are selling a heavy machinery. Now people cannot come and see what you're trying to sell, but still you want to sell. How do you do that? You do that by creating, say, 3D models, virtual environments. You create your artificial intelligence based AR systems, augmented reality systems, where people can interact with your stuff. Like, for example, this is a wall here right now. Well, how can I, if I paint it pink or green, how does it look like? Give them tools to, like, see those changes on the fly. So those kind of interventions are going to be more going forward, because that's going to be like fast tracking your sales channel and sales process. That's going to be important. And also the IoT solutions, because we have this kind of social distancing norms. Now if you go to a restaurant, so now what we need to do is, there's no human to human contact, so you're looking at bringing in a machine, so that it is trying to give you that kind of assurance that, okay, this is not having a virus. So you create robots or robotics and IoT and sensors and all of that. The next boom is going to come there. That is where the next boom is going to come from. That is going to be critical. I think if any one of you guys want to really look at how do we innovate, what can we do, I think this is the right time to look at how we can solve that human to human interactions by bringing in interventions of technology, robotics, artificial intelligence, IoT. That is what is going to be here. I think significant shift is going to happen. What could have taken another 10, 15 years in terms of this kind of a virtual technology, bringing everything online, it's going to happen this year. So we're going to fast track the technology growth, at a significant pace. The What are the sectors now? Let's look at what are the sectors that are going to really boom. Co-working as such, so for example, a lot of large companies right now realize that they don't need like large offices, and then they just need distributed offices across where employees can just go there and work. Some critical employees can, critical projects, right, can be run from the locations. Rest everybody can work from home. Those sorts of situations now, the co-working, when in another few months is going to start booming again. That's going to be the trend. E-commerce now, nobody will want to go to a grocery store because that infection can spread. The kind of situation even in India right now, it's a kind of a spike that we're having every day. Just yesterday we have over 6,000 more cases, for example. So how do we cut it down? Like e-commerce is, that contactless experience, having the kind of a right kind of a standard operating procedures, sanitization. So e-commerce and anything that can be delivered in a contactless experience, that can be delivered technology. These are the things that are going to boom. That is important. Education, we've already touched based on it. I don't know when will be the next time that kids are going to go to school. It's going to take a few more months. I think it's going to be challenging for sure. It's going to be challenging. So I think online classes are important, and OTT platforms. So if you see the kind of boom that Netflix and a lot of other platforms have had out there, huge demand because people are sitting at home and they want entertainment. So it's a big creating content is going to be like a key thing going forward. Teleworking, as such, that we spoke about, the Skype and Zoom, and we have the Google Meet and all of that that have really surged ahead, had a huge spike in it. Health and fitness. See, anything that has got to do with health and fitness is going to boom right now because people want to take care of themselves. People understand that you got everything only if you got life. Basically, you got to live, you got to stay alive. That is the most important thing. So physical well-being, nutrition, mental health, a lot of these apps, a lot of these products right now are really booming, booming a lot at this point in time. And also the payments, like people don't want to even exchange notes right now, so a lot of online payments are going to happen. So these are the things that are going to be very critical. So as a parting, if you look at concluding how the situation is going to be for the next 6 months, is going to be a significant shift for the entire world. Never before have we really faced such a calamity before, a pandemic before, that has affected everybody on earth. Because we don't have the freedom to go out and do things, businesses have to go to the people. Businesses have to go to their laptops and mobile apps, phones, and deliver an experience. So that is how the norm is going to be. So I think every business has to think differently, has to look at, okay, what are the practicalities on the ground to make people stay safe. Stay safe is going to be the key to anything that you want to do in the future. So keeping that in the mind, people are going to build everything around it. So that is what the new norm is going to be. And my suggestions to a lot of startups out there is conserve cash, figure out a way to survive, because a lot of people can just not be there to come back up again if you really go down right now. So the same thing for the employees, professionals. Work hard right now, pick additional skills, be very valuable to your organizations. Otherwise, if you do lose your job right now, it's going to be a terrible situation, because getting another job will take a while. And a lot of layoffs are happening and a lot of cost cutting is going on. So I think companies are looking at employees who can really add a lot of value. That is going to be very important. But having said that, we feel that industry is going to bounce back, especially technology is going to bounce back very fast. Many of the sectors are going to bounce back very fast right now. So all the best and stay safe.
Okay, so now it's time for Q&A. Like, guys, like if you have any question and answer, like probably Vishwas will address you. And there is a question from one of the participant, Kadiravan. Um,
Yeah,
is work
Karthik.
from home is better on the quarantine or in normal day?
How was it? Okay, so I believe that many people felt, like I said, that people felt that okay, work from home is never going to work. That's what the industry norm was. Even myself, I thought that okay, employees who are working from home may not be very effective because you've got a lot of disturbance and stuff, and you never have control because you have kids at home, you've got family at home, you've got responsibilities at home, and there's no good internet connection. There is uncertainty about electricity, a lot of these issues. But I think the situation now has told us that the productivity is increased and pollution is decreased outside, and then we're saving a lot of time. So that's the reason people are able to put in more effort. I've seen people who are working like twice as hard at home, and I know it's not sustainable. I know that people have to go back to the normal lives very soon. And but having said that, I think the uh, uh, the work from home has kind of practically worked, and people are surprised. And many of the industries might continue to just do the work from home for a long time to come, and have like a small office setup where they can go there for meetings, for critical things they can do, or take up smaller offices to run only critical projects, and the rest of people can work from home. So I think that is going to be the norm, because that is also going to reduce your burn of your company. So I think savings are going to be pretty good.
Okay. So there is also another question from an
Yeah.
participant. So, what are your thoughts to engage real estate customers so that they can come to terms with the virtual experience as against the physical? What technology components can be integrated apart from Zoom or Team, etc.?
Yeah, so many things that we are trying to do right now. Like first of all, we're trying to give like people who don't even have to come to office to see the workspace and stuff. So we're trying giving them a virtual walkthrough, AR and VR experience for them to like understand okay what's happening internally there. We also are giving them remote working packages. So, for example, if somebody wants to work from home, and then we give them a package together with the internet and all the tools that they need, so that they can work from home, and then they can do the stuff, work and stuff like that. So we're also trying to imagine how what can happen, how can we make people successful working from home. That has been one thing. And number two is there's a lot of physical stuff as well, like practical stuff as well in the workspace. For example, in a meeting room, how is that people can sit, when you people come inside, what should be the operating procedure for that, right? How do you make people safe? For example, AC is running, so how do we make sure that the virus, if somebody's infected, how do they don't how do we make sure that people are not getting affected? So all of these, some of the answers that we're trying to figure out how do we do it. So real estate is going to be tough. It's going to be one of the key sector where it's going to take some time to come back, unfortunately. So I think we believe the next 3-4 months are going to be critical to understand how do we deal with this corona situation.
There is another question. So you said remote working is going to boom in upcoming days. Will that happen in tier 2 cities? What is your thoughts?
Oh yeah. So basically, what is happening is, I think many people are getting pushed towards online working. For example, even the courts right now, they are moved online. All the people in the government departments are moving online. Like they are doing virtual conferencing to do some very critical things. Court hearings are happening online. And then, for example, Narendra Modi, for example, he's doing the it's his interaction with the chief ministers and everybody on video conferencing, right? So these are some of the things that, if you look at it, even at the government level, the percolation of technology has happened, and work from home also has been looked at it. But at least I feel that in the tier two cities, what's happening is wherever there people are there in green zone and yellow zones, people can go to the offices, so not much of I feel that not much of an impact has happened there. So only in the red zones and in kind of cities, these things are happening at this point in time, and people have access to more technology, so they're able to do it. So yeah, so that's the in a nutshell. I feel that it's going to take some more time to hit the tier two cities, but it's going to get there. It's already happening. It's just a matter of time.
How can the sports industry thrive during the time of crisis?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question. And sports industry, is very very difficult right now. If you really look at it, what has happened is online sports has become a huge thing at this point in time, right? People are playing poker, people are playing online cricket. A lot of these things are happening at this point in time. So even the sports thing industry has gone online. So whatever is possible, they are able to do it at this point in time. So I believe that now the government has allowed people to go to the stadiums, but there's no audience out there. So it's going to be interesting to see how the industry is going to be coming up with the new shows and anything to relate to the sports. Are there going to be matches going on, IPL, T20 and stuff like that? So we need to see how things are going to happen. But I believe that social distancing is going to be there. The audience is going to be less, but I think the people are going to sit at home and watch it. So I believe, I don't know why they should stop it right now. I think, in fact, I feel that they should start IPL and all other things, and then restrict the audience physically there, but people can actually watch from home. So that is going to be a great entertainment, and they're still going to get a good ROI on the advertising, I think.
Okay, great. Can you recommend any specific AR VR solutions?
There are many like AR, VR tools right now, like Unity 3D and stuff like that, to create a lot of these solutions. It depends on which industry are you dealing with, and then people can actually be using specific stuff in that particular industry. So yeah, so AR VR is here to stay, and it's just evolving actually. Not so much in VR, but AR, like you augmented reality. So there's something here, and I know I want to add something to this reality. So that's the whole premise there. So I think a lot of online games are coming up right now, so which are like AR. So many things. So for example, Pokemon is there, become really really interesting for that. Then we also have AR, VR for a lot of real estate industry. So you actually go into from some kind of a navigation through your space and home, and you touch and feel things and stuff. So all this can happen online itself. So those things are going to be there. In fact, it is so crazy. Like a lot of museums have opened their online AR tours and stuff. So that's what they have done. Even the safaris, they have done it. So virtual tours and stuff like that. So everybody's trying to do something online so that they can keep their revenue streams going, and also keep their audience engaged.
So, what new strategies or plans that you suggest can be implemented for a travel company to exist during this period? In order to be sustainable, profitable, would you advise the travel company to think of another idea which is related to travel itself, or one must think of altogether different business idea, or one must wait and watch over the next few months? What is your suggestion?
It's going to be tough. I believe that the whole travel and hospitality industry has been really, really hit, because, of course, people cannot travel right now. So they have travel restrictions, right? So it's going to be very difficult. I think they just need to survive. And some of them have tried to think different out of the box. So, for example, they have given it for quarantine facilities. Hotels have given their facilities to the government. some 5-star, some 3-star, some other facilities. So people who are coming back to the country, people who are coming back from other states, they can book those hotels, stay there for 2 weeks, self quarantine themselves, and come out of there. So I think they are trying to survive, and it's going to be interesting to see how things will shape up.
Okay. Do this work from home, remote working affects the new employees? I'm asking about employee induction and getting a rapport with the team virtually.
It's a very, very interesting question. So this is one of the challenges we are also having in some of the projects that we are doing for the customers, and new employees are coming in, and it's taking them longer time to actually understand a project, and also understand that who are they working with, right? So it's like if you're coding or if you're doing something, so it only it's your code that is speaking to the other employees. If they're not able to get this face-to-face interaction, and induction is not able to happen properly. So till some time back, we couldn't even send like a laptop to people. Right? So yeah, so I think that that is a challenge, definitely a challenge, but something that we have to overcome. And I think virtual meetings are helpful. People are having daily meetings. People are having, uh, for example, every day, what do you do? So at the end of the day, you need to send like a report so that people are aware. Now it is not only about you doing the work, but also telling people that I am responsible, I am accountable, I am trying to tell that okay, this is what I have done, and the next morning I go and discuss again. So with the stand-up meeting, so for example, if your company is having Scrum as a process, so you have a daily stand-up calls, you have daily emails that you send out, the task completed, you have weekly demos. Yeah, so these things are critical actually.
So, what do you think of AR VR for real estate industry?
Yeah, so I think I answered this question. So right now, AR/VR has been it's going to be pivotal going forward, but I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make in practicality actually. So what is that? You can just go and see a tour and stuff like that. You can have a few things that you can use to enhance your experience at the workspaces and stuff, but real practical value that you want to bring out of it, it's going to take some time.
Will gamification help in finding customer interest?
I, it's a very, very good question. So gamification is see every application out there or every website out there, they're trying to use some form of gamification. So gamification is done as a tool to do multiple things. One is for user experience. They want you to like be engaged. They want you to come back again and again. They want you to win rewards. They want you to see where do you stand compared to others and stuff. But it's also used to understand who you are, asking the right kind of questions, using creating a user profile, creating like artificial intelligence to throw the right kind of content based on it, right? So gamification is very key to understand your customers and also to reward them, to incentivize them, keep them engaged, make sure they come back. So gamification is very, very critical and is being used very beautifully in many, many applications these days. Point systems, currencies, discounts. These are all forms of gamifications that have worked beautifully, and then memberships as well, gold memberships or discount memberships. I think that is key. I think especially now because of this COVID situation, I believe that gamification and that kind of a loyalty kind of a system has to be there in every app or every business that you're trying to do right now.
So, what strategy roadshop vendors or small vendors can adapt when everyone goes for online shopping?
I know. See, um, it's very difficult right now. So I think roadside vendors and the street side vendors, I think the first thing they need to do is maintain hygiene, maintain social distancing as a norm. So that these things are going to be critical, especially in cities where people feel comfortable to go to them. That is going to be the key, right? I mean, you look at it, like even myself right now. I mean, I did not order too many things from e-commerce. I just went. Of course, we have in our community we have a couple of shops internally, and then we went there and we got things, right. And then we got every weekend we got people come like with food trucks or with some vegetables, fresh vegetables from the farm itself, and then they lay down everything. We go there and then we ensure that we maintain social distancing norms and we pick up stuff and stuff, right, and come back, right. So definitely these things are going to be there because not everybody is going to be ordering online. It's not possible. So ultimately these people will survive. Business is going to happen, but what is important is if you can make it very, very hygienic for people, then you can definitely succeed.
Okay, that's great.
All right.
So, how can small businesses adapt technology with lesser operational cost?
So there are many tools right now that are available. So if you want to like really look at launching an e-commerce site, so there are e-commerce solutions that are available. So if you want to create your own tutoring sessions, so there are things available where you can have like a classroom setup. You can have your online sessions going on there. You can do that. So every business that is there, what you need to understand is there like a off the shelf product that you can use. If it is not there, then you have to go to somebody like, for example, Good Work Labs is that my company, for example, we help companies build products. We help them create the solutions. So we're helping many small companies as well. So to adapt technology and how do they succeed in the difficult situation that we are in right now. So use somebody who understands technology, you can put together solutions and you can get going, right? So that's important.
That's awesome. Um, how important is it for businesses to evolve out of the traditional way of working?
It's very important right now. It is the thing. If you don't evolve, you're gonna be dead. So everybody right now is thinking how do they evolve. We have to evolve. And some industries like real estate and hospitality, who they cannot evolve right now, so they have to survive. Figure out a way to create additional revenue channels. Bide time right now. So we just need to survive the next 3 to 6 months, and things will come back up again. And when they come back up again, it's going to come back with vengeance. And there's a lot of business that's going to come our way, because when the markets are finally going to open up, there's going to be so much pent up demand in the market that the things are going to go booming at this point in time. And just be there, survive, and then make sure that you get that benefit. That's important.
So all right, I believe like we are done with the questions for today. So thank you so much for answering all the questions and explaining us. And thank you, Vishwas, for your time. And no, the situation what we are undergoing is unexpected. And no, like now it's a time to accelerate ourselves and do a transition for the platforms like which thrive like post COVID. And thank you so much for shedding the lights on how the businesses and technologies will turn out post COVID-19. So thank you for the learning and thank you for your time, Vishwas, and thank you all.
Thank you for having me, and thank you all the participants for being there. I hope this was useful. I really had a good time and amazing questions. That's what I felt today. Really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for everything. Thanks.